Welcome back. So I thought today, since yesterday we played Antwerp, and that was the first time I recorded a round or did any kind of video shooting, that today I would do it again, get practice going. And we're here at my home course in Zoetermeer, Netherlands. Fun fact, Zoetermeer, Zoet means sweet or sugar, Meer means lake. So Zoetermeer is Sweet Lake, the Sweet Lake city. Anyway, I am lucky enough to have a friend who has let me borrow his car, and so I am getting around this way right now, but this is also one that I come to all the time at public transit because there is a train stop that's a 5-minute walk, so that is fantastic. But this is the home course. It's a fun course because you've got some really long shots that you can do, and there's a ton of short holes as well. I've heard some of the local players here call it Zoetermeer, the course that you never have to play the same layout twice. And that's because they've got a red layout that's 12 holes, super beginner friendly. I mean, you're looking at 30 to 50 meter holes. So, anywhere from 50 to 100 feet. And then you've got a white layout the next size up. You've got a couple of silver layouts that are safari, so you stay away from the actual lake that's here, or pond. And then there's a couple of blue layouts. So there's a lot of different layouts. So my goal is to hope to capture all of them. Today, I think a good place to start is going to be, I'm going to make this decision when I get there, either silver or Safari 1 or Safari 2. That way we stay away from the backside, which is where the lake is. I don't think I have time for that today, but we'll see. So the cool thing about Van Tuyl Park, I should say, here in Zoetermeer, is it's a sports park. It's a big multi-purpose sports park. So here you've got field hockey, all sorts of field hockey. There's a track and field over there. They've got the bubble up for more field hockey. There's pickleball, paddleball, and tennis courts back there. They're building a new wellness center. We've got the pond over that way for the back holes. They're building a pool on the other side over there. And you've got a lovely bike path that leads into the town of Zoetermeer and the Oosterheem neighborhood of it. So as you're walking up, if you take the tram, by the way, if you ever come to visit, and you go, well, I live in The Hague, and I go from The Hague, I live next to Central Station, so I get to Central Station in The Hague, get on either tram 34 or 4, and head towards Zoetermeer. It's 34 or 4, and if you see all the way in the distance in the background, boom, up top up there, that glass structure behind that flag, that's the tram stop. So it's a nice little 5-minute walk. It's good for a cold day warm-up, that is for sure. There is the tee of 1, and here you go. This is the field. Hole 1 is going to be from up here for the blue or silver layouts all the way out there. And then you've got a couple of practice baskets. Now these practice baskets are also the baskets for either the red or the white layout, which if you see there, the red or the green tee signs, that is what these will be for. So we're going to get some putts in. I'm going to say, what's up to Nico? So I guess I made my first mistake here. I thought I was recording. I was not recording. Look at that. Came here to see throws. Well, you know what? Let's do this. Let's throw one. I did not hit record. This is a 120 meter hole, 120 meters. And I mean, it's straight down there. I've already thrown 2 that we'll go walk up and take a look. But just so you can see the flight of the disc out to the hole. So here's FX4, test run FX4, one that Isaac really likes, Isaac Robinson. So let's see if we can throw this a little straight, get some movement, and pump it out there. I think I threw that well. I threw it straight, or I threw it flat, just didn't hit my exact line that I would need. And it went out there, got a little bit of right movement, and then it had a really dependable finish. So 120 meters that way. Let's go take a look at the others. Here was my first drive, or I'm sorry, this is my second drive. I did 2 off the top. This D2 was number 2, probably 100 meters. Maybe that's 20 meters to the basket. It's pretty cool. Still looking for the, oh, here's the D1. All right, so they ended up being in the same spot. This is my Kale LaVisca D1 Max. And again, there you go. A couple of really, really good throws. I'm pretty happy with them. They were smooth. I didn't feel like I overpowered them. It stinks that you didn't get to see it. That's a bummer. And then just for comparison, here's that FX4. So again, really not mad at any of these. Is going to leave me with a putt. I'm going to take, this is the very first throw, the D1 Max. I am going to take that. And let's see if we can make a putt. Nope. Let's go for number 2, extra warm up. Oh, almost had the correction. How do we know you're going to par unless you actually do it? Fine. Guess I'll actually putt it. Hopefully not look like a jerk. All right, so finishing up hole 1. Really fun. It's hard to get started with a big rip, but at least you've got a nice big field. You've got warm-up space. You've got practice buckets, baskets. And one last word of caution, during the summertime, if you do crank one over and it comes into all of this, be aware it is very thorny. In fact, all of these bush type things, if you come to play anywhere in the Netherlands, I would highly recommend tall socks or some kind of durable pant, because most of the bush that you see will have brimbles, nettles, thorns, all sorts of stuff that's not tons of fun. Here we up, coming to hole 2. Little weird tee pad, but that's because we've got 2 of what we're doing there. And then here's 15 for white. So hole 2, look at this, 135 meter, another big one. And what you don't want to do, and you can just barely see the basket through the trees. You look dead center of the camera now. Yeah, there's the basket. This fence is OB. You don't want to go over that fence. So the best thing to do is this little gap that's up here between the fence and the bush. If you can land up there in that gap, maybe even a little closer to the fence, you'll be good. You don't want to end up on this side of the fence. It makes for a really awkward forehand because that fence curves. You can see the curve of the bike path. That fence curves along that way, and it's just not fun. But you've got a big field to play with. If you do end 2 left, you've got to do the up and over. So the goal, go land in that gap. Let's see if we can make that happen. So right now, trying to make that gap up there. I've got the FX4 and I've got the club fairway. I'm going fairways on here because I want to make that gap. My throw has been feeling pretty good. I think I can get up there with the distance in a fairway. And the last couple times I've done a distance driver on this, I was practicing the throw so much I went over the fence, and you just don't want to do that. So it's not a brag. It's a trying to be strategic, but I could totally shank these. So let's see what happens. I'm going to go FX4 first because I've been really enjoying this. All right, so yeah, hit the fence all the way down there. Came out, I definitely hit my line a little bit left. I also came out a little, maybe flat or touch Anheuser, and it just drifted. But that is such a good disc. It's so much fun. So this time, this like an 8.5, maybe -1.2 or something like that. I'm going to just change my line a little bit. I know my walk up put me this way, so I'm going to change the angle of my line and of my walk up. I'm going to come more well towards that biker that's just on that path there, and let's see what we can do with this club fairway. Definitely came over on that. Tried too hard, put too much angle. So now you're going to get to see what happens if you end up too right. It's not going to be great, but let's see what we can make happen. Here you go. This is what I was talking about. There's my FX4. See how this curves? Now, if you've got a very trusty forehand, maybe no problem for you. But I am still working on my forehand. It is not trusty, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to try. Let's see what we can do here. I'm going to set this down. All right, and that's the trouble with being over here is you've really got to get up and over. All right, where do we want to put? If you go into these bushes, if you do happen to fall in here, there is a little tunnel right in here. And this little tunnel is maybe 2 meters wide, so just about 6 feet wide, where you could totally end in here. If you, say, landed on the grass and skipped in here, it's not hopeless. It's just tricky. And that's why it's tricky. You can hit a tree. Don't hit it. It's not going to be very much of a run. Let's just lay up. All right. So I forgot to mention, you don't want to go long. If you can see behind the basket, there's these trees. Well, there is a little pond and a little storm drain right there. And not a lot of discs come back from down there if you don't see it. It's very murky. You can't see it. The ground is very, very soft. And so with soft, underneath all that water, if you move the disc a little bit, it's going to bury itself underneath. So be careful if you go in that water. So as you can see, now we're leaving 2 big arm field holes, and we're going to cut into these little bushes, this little mini forest that separates the road and the park. There is your basket, straight through that tunnel there. That's not where we're throwing, but there's the tee of white, the tee of red. We're going to push it back this way, and here is the tee of blue. So with the tee of blue, you can't really see the black basket. Really what you're trying to do is, whatever method is best for you, is to hit this gap right here. You could go the wide gap to the left of this tree next to the red tee. There is a little gap there if you put a forehand through or something super understable that it'll go around it. Ideally, what many people do is go up the center over this broken tree and just let it fade to the right. So let's see what we can make happen. I'm going to go PA5. I have been working a lot this year on hitting a line. I'm not saying I'm going to hit it now, but it is way more consistent than my forehand. My forehand, I still am having a hard time hitting the line I want it to go on. So with the backhand, the biggest thing that's helped me this past year is just by creating the line on the tee pad where I want it to go, and I keep my head down. Because if I try to look where I throw, my head comes up, I throw it up. So as you see me getting all set up in this stance, and it does take me a while, and I'm sorry for those who have to play with me, I'm first imagining what wrist angle do I want to put the disc on, because I know when I crank it out there, the disc is going to do whatever it is it's going to do based on the angle and spin I put on it. And then after that, after I know the angle of the wrist, I lock that in, I bring it back, and I'm imagining the line. What line do I want this disc to follow to hit out there? That's it. That's really what's been helping me. Now let's see if I can actually do it after explaining it. That is probably going to be parked or maybe a little long right. That was great. That was everything we just talked about. Love it. If you're trying to hit a line, follow the disc on the line of the tee pad. I'm not a coach. I'm not that good. But this is what's helping me. The line on the tee pad, following it, and it really helps me keep my head down so I don't throw skyrocket high. Where to next, you might say. So there's the basket of 3. We are going to turn around, maybe give a wave to anybody waiting on you on the tee box. Bye, tee box. Now we're going to go left. As you're walking towards the tee box, got our nice little path. These paths are walked pretty frequently, so there's not a signage for it, but I wouldn't say you'd be lost. This, I don't know if this tee pad will be here by the time you visit or if you're watching. They hold national tournaments here in the Netherlands, just like many other countries, national tours. And this was the tee pad for the national tour. And we've kept it there because we've used it because it's a great throw. You've got to throw right up. There's a center gap. There's a left gap. But hole 4, 50 meters uphill, up and over. So you can go a couple of ways. There's some guys who will do a forehand out to the left. or lefties will throw the hyzer out this way. Just hope that you can, there is no out of bounds because this isn't the national tour, unless you go in the water. So you can go left hyzer, really push it as close to that big tree up on the hill as you can because it flattens out and you'll get that skip to the right. You could go the straight route, whatever throw you do, straight route, or you can go big sky hyzer up. I'm going to try to do 2 of them. Let's see what we can make happen. Okay, so I'm going to try to do 2. I'm going to go the big hyzer with my A3 over the top. I choose the A3 because I want it to go straight for a while and then have the dependable fade. And I'm also going to do one straight at it with my PA3. Now, woo! I definitely went wider than I meant to. It did not go as straight, but because of the hyzer I put on it, the width, and a little bit of wind, I was pretty close to hitting that basket. That was really, really cool. Now let's try to go straight at it with the PA3. Too much, way too much. I'm gonna be so long. Not so long, but it's gonna be long. It'd be a longer putt. So I'm really happy with my first shot. Third goal. For the last 15 years, I've been in the personal development space, leadership development, supporting the human resources department, learning and development within distribution centers, corporate offices, and in the retail space. My background when I was 14, 15 years old was retail. And I've done a lot of different things over the course of my life. Really, if there was ever a job that came up that didn't interfere with schoolwork or my main full-time job, I'd say yes, I try it. Why not? Try something. You might like it. And that's been a big philosophy of my life. So I digress. I tell you this, in the last 15 years, I've been able to help and coach hundreds and maybe even up to the thousands. I'm going to say close to 1,000 easily. Because at one company, we were cranking out probably 300 liters a year with the tools that we were teaching, and it was great. And I've gotten to coach so many more around the world. What do I want to do for all of you watching this channel? There's a lot of disc golf content out there. And one thing that I feel may be missing, or not that it's not talked about, but something that I feel qualified to bring, personal development. And that could be mental health. It could be making you more productive. It could just be something as simple as a mental trigger on the course to make it easier for you. That's what I want to bring. We'll bring YouTube or disc golf content. We'll bring different courses. I'm going to show you a lot of Prodigy discs. I'm not really interested in buying any other discs right now. If they're sent to me, if I'm with a friend, I'll start trying out different discs and do that. So there's some of the different discs on the channel, but I throw Prodigy. I like Prodigy. And there's so many people who don't know about Prodigy that I would like to highlight it. So, what can I do for you? How can I help you? I've got ideas and topics. I want you, if you're watching this video, if you're following along, maybe like me, maybe I would be on my lunch break from work. I'd want to watch some people throw disc because I can't go out and throw disc. Why not watch disc and get something that's going to help you? Not just with your form and your throw. I'm not that guy. I'm not that coach. But I am a coach that can help you live a happier, more productive, better life. Lifestyle coaching meets disc golf? Yeah. Okay, back to what you came for here. This is where the big hyzer A3 happened. And then the PA3, I mean, I'm still looking at maybe a 20-foot, 25-foot putt. This is still going to give me maybe a 15-footer and this little bit of wind. There's the hole for you. Let's see if we can make a putt. Nope, and that's okay. Second one goes in, isn't that how it goes? Hole 4, really, really fun hole. We're going to take the MX3 here. So this is one that it's a straight mid with a good dependable finish at the end. If I put this out, if I throw it well, maybe if I throw it well and throw it flat a little bit towards the left of the basket, so center fairway out there, and then the wind should pull it right and give me a finish at the end that is left. Let's see if we can make that happen. Here are all those trees and bushes on the right, and again, heads up, during the summer, very thorny. It's not really fun. Let's go check this guy out. It's not even summer, and look, just that one's even, they've got little curls at the end. They got little hooks. Yeah, it's not fun. Be careful, y'all. Here's the disc, more than a 10-meter putt for sure. Six, could be hole 5 with blue. 75 meters from here, really just a straight shot. You've got this gap here in the middle. You could go over this little baby tree that's here on the right. You want to be careful not to go too straight and end up in the bushes down there on the right. And there is a canal, there is a little creek that's on the right hand side. OB left of the path if you're in, or left of the path, so you could go forehand. This is going to be the archive shot for me. I've been pretty good with my M2 on it, but as I've been using the archive more, I've been digging it. So here what I'm trying to do is just a nice slight hyzer, so a little pushing hyzer, just straight through this gap and let it finish left towards the basket. Let's hope I hit it right. Recently, I've either been grip locking and I've gone way right and I've ended up in those bushes there, or maybe I've used a fairway and just didn't hit it the right way and I came crashing down left, skip on the path, and OB. It's 75 meters, it shouldn't be that hard, but for some reason this hole has been in my head. I'm really happy with that throw. I threw the pushing hyzer like I wanted, just a little too much power, but that's okay. Oh, money. The first 6 holes here, we're coming to 7. You can see we have a couple of different tees here. You've got the white tee, or some layouts go to the short basket right there in front of you. Or if you play any of the longer layouts, here you can see we are going to have the 125 meter from here. Oh, sit way down. Now, once you get past it is a steady decline all the way down. So from the tee pad to the short basket, you've got a little bit of a decline, but now as you start to get all the way down there, you can see that it is tucked down a little bit, just where it is in relation to this bike path. So pick something that is gonna get you down there. You don't wanna go crazy long if you've got the big arm. Well, not first video, but this video I tried using the microphone and it's already dead. So, woo, there you go, 7 holes in. Also probably because I'm taking too long to do this and talking too much, but hey, that's classic Todd, baby. All right, so we're gonna go with the H3. I do want that right movement, so I'm gonna try to throw flat at the basket, let it go right, and then finish left. Okay, if you can see the basket, and all of a sudden my disc disappeared, there's like a 1-foot diameter hole at the basket. As I mentioned, boom, got that little hole. There's not as much water in it right now, but that's where the disc landed. We're gonna tap this in. Okay, the first one I'm gonna do is the PA3. PA3, I'm just gonna try to go straight at it. I'll throw it a little bit right to the basket so it'll get that fade. Let's see what we can do. threw that way too right. And that's gonna finish so straight. It's gonna be a long putt. It'll be a downhill putt, but I did not throw that on the line that I needed to. So now let's go with the A3. Really, I should be throwing it in the same direction. I just threw that one a little bit higher, so it slows down a little bit, and then I'm gonna get that good fade at the end. Crossed right in front of the basket, so from an ace run perspective, that was the throw, just a like 5% more power. However, I'm probably going to be down near the water now, and that's not the throw that you want. Here's that A3. So it turned out better than I thought. I thought I'd be further down into all of this. I have friends who have lost discs in there. This isn't too bad. This is the putt that you want. However, remember I said I was gonna take the first shot, and the first shot was the PA3 that went straight. I threw it too far right, and here I am. It slowed down the way it needed to. However, we've got a longer putt. Let's see what we can do. All right, I haven't made it very far, but there's the tee coming around town. You can kind of, well, no, not kind of, you can see the basket up there. If I zoom in, there's the basket all the way up there. There's the tee of white. So you can do the big hyzer, get to that tee, and there you go. Or you can play this right route. Now, as a heads up, there's normally always wind here. So if you're planning a trip here, plan on something that is going to be okay throwing into a headwind here. Every once in a while we will get tailwinds, but most of the time you're throwing into a headwind here. You can see those Praxi flags. That is what you would call a struggle bus shot. It was way more thick in there than I wanted it to be. Well. Things that have really helped me, not only in the last few years, I will say 2023 was the most difficult year for me mentally, spiritually. I wouldn't say physically, but I mean, it wasn't my best physical year compared to the later 20s and early 30s of all the working out and fitness stuffs. But these two definitely helped me, one, get out of a procrastinative funk, or if I'm really frustrated by a lot of things and I just don't know where to go next. There's two words that our wrestling coach back in high school, Coach Wilkins, would always shout at the wrestlers when he saw them just sitting there saying, do this, do that, do that, do that. And the wrestler just couldn't get anything going. Finally, you'd hear the coach, do something. And that's it. Do something. Don't think about if it's the right thing to do. Don't think about all the big steps to it. You know what the next step is. Whatever, if you're working on a paper, research paper, and you can't write that first sentence, you don't know how to, what? Okay, do something. There's something that you know you can do right now, no matter how big or small. Preferably small. Small things lead to big actions. but do something. When I get really frazzled and frenetic, my mind's going in 8 different places. If I should do this, I should do this, I should do this, I should do this. I'm freaking out, and then it just rolls. Do something. Just pick one thing and do it. Who cares if it's... Advice number 2. So I give 2 pieces of advice. Number 1, do something. Number 2, it's in the past. You cannot change it. If you rewire your thinking, you make a mistake on the golf course, you make a mistake at work, don't get caught in the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Think about the next step. Now, if it's a mistake at work, the next step, what happened? Why did it happen? How can I prevent it next time? It's about that how for the next step. It's in the past. You cannot change it. I cannot rethrow this disc. I cannot change this position. It's happened. It's in the past. You know what, I'm gonna give a fist bump or a little flex for a bogey putt because it was a good putt. Why not? Celebrate. So here, I'm gonna throw this Gannon-Burr PA3. I want something in a base plastic that's gonna land softly and not skip a lot. And I don't need the overstability of the other one. I just want to throw this nice and easy, get it up there and let it stick. I didn't even get to tell you or show you the rabbit part. I said this is a rabbit hole because of it being rabbits. That entrance has closed up. That's what we call the par pocket, that little pocket underneath the basket there. Here is the latest opening for the rabbits. Although it looks like it's been closed off again. All right, this is a really cool hole here. Biggest one on the course, 235 straight. You can do that, right? Not as overstable as I thought. That's awesome. Been here so many times, first time reading that. All right. We are losing daylight. All right, we just hit that putt. Took the par with a 5. I forgot to see what I am doing, but I don't think I'm any sort of under. As you come back this way now, again, be mindful if anyone's throwing. We're gonna take this little shortcut and we are going to, on many of the layouts, it's hole 18. So if you come and you play some different layouts, you're gonna play this hole as 18 frequently. Other basket that's on the hill, you can see the greener grass up ahead there, that real patch of green grass. The basket, you can just kind of see it through the tree. but that is where you are headed. Oh, and it went down the hill. That's not what you want. That's what you want. Up, over, all the way to the right to the rabbit hole. Right there was the T of the rabbit hole that we did just a little bit ago. Here we went through that gap. Now it's time to hit it from right here. So well, it's at least forward progress, and I've got a wide open fairway. All right, up and over. Oh, come on, come on. Yeah, good park. Up and over, across the field to that basket. It is a fun throw. So I missed my line. The disc did. I did what I wanted to do. I missed my line. And I ended up over here in this stuff. Now here's what's cool about this. I forgot to check how long this hole is, but there's my disc, and you can see right here. And in relation to, there's the pin. So I mean, it's a pump that I'm pretty happy about. Now, I gotta pitch out of this. All right, here we go, last hole. Here is the tee of when I did the forehand up that way near hole 1. So now we're gonna go from this. That par putt puts me at a +2 for the round today, which, incorporating the camera, doing all that talking, and who am I kidding? You saw my normal play. There's holes where I make mistakes, there are lines that I don't hit. I think I've come a really far away from where I used to be, especially from where I was in Houston and the guys who saw me in Houston. So now keep working on the form to get it much more crisp, and then to speed things up, to add some more snap with the forehand. I went and saw a coach to break it down from the very basics of do just this part first, now add this part, now add the next part, now let's do it all together. It's been a fun journey as we go. This was Zoetermeer, Van Tool Park, Silver Safari 1 layout, minus hole 10. I hope you enjoyed. Remember to go do something, and if you've stayed this long, if it's happened, it's happened. You can't control it. What can you control? It's the next thing. My favorite advice, well, my favorite show is Ted Lasso, and the favorite piece of advice from Ted Lasso is what he gives to Sam in the first season. Be a goldfish. Go out there, go be a goldfish. Keep spreading good vibes.